is Notsam Wrestling.
Introducing your host from New York, here is Sam Roberts.
I'd like to welcome my guest here on Notsam Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Jake the Snake Roberts is back. Jake, what's the haps, man?
Oh, man. It's running crazy, bro. This time of year, everybody's getting ready for Mania. And then, even people that aren't in the WWE anymore are getting ready for Mania. Not only with wrestling, but with everything for me. I mean, I've got several big tours coming up, and I'd like to talk to you about. And just everything's great, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, how does it affect you? How does Mania week and the feeling that it's WrestleMania time, how does that start to seep into your life?
Well, you always come out of winter, you're kind of stuck in that doldrums, but as spring comes around the corner, you start waking up and start getting out more and getting around more. Right now, I've been doing a lot of Comic-Cons this time of year. And I enjoy those. You get a lot of wrestling fans come to Comic-Cons, and it's always great to visit with the fans. And now that I've started doing these tours doing comedy, they say it's comedy. I'm not so sure. Basically, all I'm doing is just retelling stories that happened back in the day, and it gives the fans an opportunity to hear what was going on behind the curtain and some of the ridiculous pranks we played on each other and the moments that we had, and whether it be in the locker room or in the ring or in a strip joint afterwards, there's some pretty good stories. They are R-rated and better. Although I have checked the statute of limitations on most of the stories to make sure that I'm clear there. Some of them are pretty wrangly, and I enjoy telling those the most. I don't know why.
That's when you've got a good show. That's when you've got a good show, and before you perform it, you have to check with your lawyer to make sure that it's okay that you tell these stories. Yeah.
You know that you're going to have people on point, and it's a lot of fun. I don't hurt anybody with it. Some of the stuff is, it just shows you how insane we were back in those days. Not only were we running 30, 40, 50 days straight sometimes. Boys will be boys. And in those days, we were running hard, man, and we played hard. And I talk about all that. We have a great time doing it. I'll be doing a big show in Mania week at Starland Ballroom in Sayreville, New Jersey.
Oh, wow, that's a great venue.
And, it's right there, man.
Yeah.
And, so, then of course I'll be at WrestleCon for a couple of days, and then Mania, and then right after that I head out to El Paso to do a Comic-Con, and then on the 16th I start a tour that starts in Cedar Falls, Iowa, and then we go to Dubuque and Cedar Rapids and Burlington and Keokuk and Peoria, of all places, and Champaign, St. Louis, and Kansas City in 10 days. So
that's incredible.
Moving pretty hard, man, and it doesn't stop there. We just keep right on going, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just heard, I've been friends with the guys who do Skankfest for a long time here in New York, Louis J. Gomez and the Legion of Skanks guys, and they hit me up and they let me know that that's going down in New York City, June 21st to 23rd. But you're doing Skankfest, which is this giant comedy festival that they do here, and I think it's been so cool to watch. In the last, I would say year, maybe even less than a year, to watch whatever it is that you're doing on stage, for whatever reason, your stories, maybe it's just because they're so honest, your stories seem to have gone beyond just wrestling fans. And I think it kind of, like, the Joe Rogan show, I'm sure was a huge leap for that, because I'm watching this guy, Joe Rogan, who for years has said how stupid wrestling is, have you on, and you've got him wrapped around your finger with these stories. And I think that leads to things like Skankfest and everything.
It was pretty awesome, man. And, just to be a part of anything's great. But, Yeah, Skankfest, man, I love the name.
I figured you would.
It just fits everything that I do. You know, I'm just skanks. Okay. I think I know her. You know, but, yeah, I'm really excited to do that. I'm going to do 2 shows up there, man. One on Saturday, one on Sunday.
Wow.
So that's going to be awesome, man.
Well, if you're in New
York, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I'm even going on the next Jericho thing, man. The Rock and Wrestling Rage at Sea Part 2.
I just saw that.
The second wave is coming, man. Yeah, January 20th through the 24th, man. We go from Miami to Nassau. I'm a little worried about that. You know, I'm afraid that ship may go down.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually, that's what I was just thinking as you were saying it. I don't know, Jake Roberts locked on a boat with a bunch of other wrestlers and wrestling fans for like a week. Probably not the greatest surroundings for anybody's safety.
It's not bright. It's not bright. And, you know, that's what they get for not having me on the first one. I ain't got to make them pay.
You're going to make them pay for it this time.
You're damn right, man. It's going to be a heavy price, man. Bermuda Triangle is nothing compared to what Jake does to a tour. So, yeah, it's been rumored before, but the living proof, be there. Don't miss that, because it's going to be something else. I'm really looking forward to that, too, you know. I mean, to get paid for being seasick, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, that's going to be so awesome.
You're going to earn it, too.
They're going to earn it, man. They're going to earn cleaning up after me. I'll be spewing. I ain't bullshitting, man. I get seasick at the drop of a hat, and I have a hard time in the bathtub.
Oh, boy.
I get seasick there. What the hell, you know? But it's going to be good times. That's what I'm saying. There's just been so much come up.
Yeah.
You know, the Joe Rogan podcast was very big for me, man, because we crossed some lines there. People that weren't wrestling fans, all of a sudden they're, hey, man, I caught you on Joe Rogan. You know, I didn't even know what you did. I'm like, well, wow, now you do. You know? And, yeah, so that's fun.
Was there anything specific, any of the stories? Because, I mean, you told so many stories on the Rogan podcast. Was there anything specific that you were surprised resonated with Joe? That you go like, this is just my life. I had no idea you would take this kind of interest in it.
Yeah, Andre farting on me. Yeah. You know, I mean, really, Joe? That's what got you going? Wow. You need to raise the bar a little bit, bro. I thought the Macho Man thing would have got him, but the Andre farting thing, he loved that. You know, I'm like, wow. Yeah. Now I know what to go for.
That's when like you prepare all these amazing stories and you realize, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to go for the basics here.
Yeah, just reel it back down, man, and talk about somebody farting on you. Yeah, that does it, you know.
Well, I mean,
my God, you should talk to my ex-wife. Oh, wait, she didn't say I farted. She said I shit on her. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's what I was literally just talking about the Andre documentary with somebody a couple of days ago who wasn't a wrestling fan, and the thing that stuck with them as like this is an amazing. I thought that the Andre doc was one of the great wrestling docs that they've made, and what stuck with them was the segment that they did on Andre's atomic farts and Mean Gene talking about how bad Andre's farts were. It was like it was necessary to include.
Well, people don't get, you know, the fact that he was so big that, of course his farts are going to last longer than normal people, you know, and anytime you have that much air up there fermenting for, you know, days at a time, you know, with no telling how many bottles of wine and vodka that was in that mixture, there's going to be some fermentation happening, and it's going to be nasty when it comes out. In fact, when he sat on me and did that, I thought I had a birthmark on my shoulder for about a week, you know, but it was actually just a wine stain from his ass. So there you go.
How was Andre with you? There are all these stories about how Andre didn't like working with the Macho Man because of the baby oil, and he didn't like Big John Studd because he didn't like big guys. How was Andre working with you, especially since you ended up getting the DQ victory, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah. Well, you know, the first time we went out, he guzzled my ass, man. I mean, just throttled me. Did not give me anything. And I came back to the locker room, and probably the dumbest thing that I ever done in my life, which is go into his locker room and confront him.
Wow.
But I did it. I called him out, man. I said, that was the worst stinking match I've ever had in my life. And if you think that's going to draw money, you're a stupid giant.
Wow.
And he just looked at me. And then I realized what I've been saying. I'm like, oh my God, I'm looking for help. And the agents, they're running out of the room. They're leaving me in there with him. They didn't want to be around there because they figured Andre was fixing to kill me.
Uh-huh.
But he just looked at me and goes, okay, boss, no problem. And then, of course, I got to realize I've got to work with him again. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But after that, he was perfect.
Really? So are you worried?
Once you stood up to him and called him and said, I'm just here to do business, man, then he was good, man. And he wanted me to hit him as hard as I could. I used to tell people that's the most frustrating thing in the world when you're trying to kill somebody and they don't even know it. Because I'd be throwing my best shots at him, man, and he just that was it. Meanwhile I'm jamming my wrists, my elbows, and then tearing my shoulders up. And, I tore a pec in half when I was wrestling him, and nearly fainted before I hit the mat because it was such pain.
And
lo and behold, he reached down and grabbed me by my arm and jerked me to my feet, and God Almighty, I passed out from the pain.
How did you tear the
pec?
pec?
He held on to me. Well, he held on to me until I came back to and told me, hey, no problem, we'll be okay. And he held me, and we wrestled, and I never took a day off.
Wow.
I just kept going, man. Well, back in those days, you didn't take days off. You got hurt, man. You just kept going.
So he's carrying you through
a pec completely in half.
And so now, since you're working with Andre every night, he's carrying you through a torn pec every single match?
Yeah, every night, man. But he was wonderful, man. Every now and then he'd do something ornery to me. Like, he used to love to knock me on my ass, and then he'd stand on my hair, then he'd reach down and grab my arms and pull, which ripped my hair out.
Yeah.
But that was funny, ha, 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 I tell people, I started to get up and just paintbrush him, but I said, I decided not to. Yeah, right. But, every now and then he'd have a little fun with me, but when it came time to do business, man, he was doing business with me, and it's one of the greatest pleasures I've ever had. It was, it's that dream that you had that you say, well, that'll never happen.
Yeah.
Wrestling Andre the Giant, really? One-on-one? Are you serious? I tell fans during the comedy show, I said, wrestling fans are a bunch of assholes. They're like, wow, that's cold, Jake. What's up with that?
Yeah.
I'm like, look, you guys were cheering me on to fight the Giant. What did I ever do to you? Y'all taking me, send the lamb to the lion. My God, did you think for a moment I had a chance? Are you serious? What have y'all been drinking? And I make a big joke of that, but no, just to be in the ring with him and for them to ring the bell and say, you guys wrestle. Are you serious?
Yeah.
But he made it believable. He found a way to make it believable by having me fight like a maniac. And if I hadn't fought him like that, it would have stunk. But because he made me fight so hard, it made it believable to a point.
Yeah, to a point.
Yeah.
So this.
Then reality came back down. So are you kidding me? I mean, let's face facts. Facts. In my best, I weighed 250.
Mm-hmm.
He weighed 550. Let me figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus Christ, man. He's had bigger turds come out of his ass than me. What the hell?
Yeah, and then he left him on your shoulder. So
damn right.
So
that was pretty brutal that night, man.
So when you guys, your second match then, right? So you've had the confrontation. You went back there.
Yeah.
He said, okay, no problem. You don't know in your head. In your head, you're probably thinking.
I was scared to death.
Right. So when do you realize?
Scared to death.
When do you realize? Wait a minute.
After I got in the ring with him and just looked at him, I felt it. And I could feel that he was going to handle it right, and he did. I was also in the backstage area at the time that Macho Man and him are about to go to the ring, and Andre goes, I hate oil. And Randy Savage threw a huge bottle of oil in the trash. Now, if you know Randy Savage, you know that he wouldn't throw away a thimble full of oil. He was that tight. Randy had the first nickel he ever made in this business, man. He still had it. He didn't spend money on nothing, man. Are you kidding me? But he tossed it in the trash. No problem, brother. It's gone. And he's wiping that oil off his body. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Andre,
You don't do things they're going to piss somebody off, and, especially big giants.
Andre was the cure for chronic thriftiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. You'd spend anything you had to keep from getting ass with him, man. I mean, I seen him toss the Iron Sheik around one night, man, for about 15 minutes, and we seen every suplex there was in the book and some that aren't in the book. New ones that have never been done since because they were crippling. I mean, tossed the poor Iron Sheik around like a rag doll, man, and him and John Studd. I was the third party in that ring with him and John Studd, and I was worried I was going to get killed by a body part flying off one of them. Jake Roberts killed by John Studd's liver. And it come out, he coughed up during a match. And it landed on me.
So when you're sitting there as the referee in that John Studd Andre match, are you watching what Andre's doing, going like, "Oh, this poor man, this poor John Studd"?
Well, see, I was wrestling him, and John was the referee. And it was just scary, man, because every time Studd got near him, he'd just slash out at Studd, man. I'm like, oh my God. I kept wondering, man, if Studd goes off, man, I've got to get out of the ring somehow.
Yeah.
And let those two animals go ahead and eat each other, Because we got Tyrannosaurus against the Brontosaurus. Here we go. But it didn't happen, thank God, because it would have probably been very ugly. But
yeah, I would imagine.
John brought that on himself,
How so?
Well, he called Andre a freak.
Oh my God!
And said that he was the only real giant. That Andre was a freak, a circus freak boy. Oh, come on! You don't do that, Jesus Christ!
So it wasn't just that Andre had problems with other big guys. He had problems with guys that called him out like that.
Right. That talk shit.
Right.
And hey, big guys have feelings too, man. And Andre put up with enough. Traveling, from people staring at him, pointing at him, laughing at him, everything. And I was around some of those, man, and I just tell people, just leave the son of a bitch alone, for Christ's sake, man.
Yeah.
God damn, man.
Yeah.
Give it a break, man.
Does that rank as your favorite rivalry you had during your WWF run?
No, it's one of them, but me and Steamboat was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, of course.
And, me and Savage was a lot of fun.
Sure.
Once I got Randy cooled down a little bit, but
it was tough to get Randy. Yeah. It was tough to get him on board at first.
Yeah, well, because of what happened with his in-laws, Bottom line is, Randy had promised them years before that Elizabeth would never be involved in the wrestling part of it. And I slapped her and did all that crap to her and all that shit. And, the grandparents told Randy not to come back to the house.
Wow.
Yeah, and because Randy, being proud as he was and everything, he never smartened him up that it was a business.
Sure.
And so they thought it was all real. That's all fine and dandy, whenever nothing's happening. But when money's being made, things do happen. And so whenever I did slap her and all that shit, they took that personal and told Randy not to ever come back to their house. They'd shoot his ass. So that's the reason that angle got cut off so soon, man. We were supposed to have gone up to Mania with it. But Randy said, "You're going to cook this up, man. I can't even go home. What the fuck, man?"
Oh, my God. See, you've never...
Each night I had to fight him, man.
Oh, my God. You're the one guy, probably, out of everybody. I know there's other guys that aren't, but you are probably the greatest example of a guy who's just never been afraid of heat. You've never been afraid of being the bad guy and of doing the things that the audience is going to hate. Do you think, does that come naturally to you? Do you just know, it's
just common sense.
Right.
To me, really, the things that I do. I mean, a lot of times guys outthink themselves, man. They try to make something so elaborate the fans can't keep up with it.
Mm-hmm.
So many different angles to come up with this and be so sneaky. No, just go back to simple bullshit, man.
Right.
People understand that. And it strikes a serious chord in their body when you do, because everybody believes it.
Mm-hmm.
And if everybody in the room believes it, now you got something to work with.
Right.
You know, and I've always been a part of that, man. And, you know, of course, you know, hell, I was in Dallas, Texas, wrestling Sting, and the guy stood up and took out a pistol and started shooting at me. You know?
Right.
And I got under the ring pretty damn quick. Of course, Sting being a babyface, you know, stupid they are. He's standing in the ring, woo, you know, doing all that crap. I'm like, you're a stupid motherfucker, man. You're fixing to get shot, you know.
Now, was that incident?
That's fun.
Was that incident on the lead up to like the spin the wheel, make the deal? Is that era?
Yeah.
Which is amazing because like of all the sort of moments in your career that you would probably just as soon forget, that would be one of the rivalries I would imagine. But obviously, you but obviously you were doing so well in the build up to it that somebody was trying to murder you with a gun.
Yeah, that's Dallas, Texas. I thought for a minute it might be family because I was born about 60 miles from there. But it wasn't. It wasn't, damn it.
Does that boggle your mind when you're going like, oh my God, like we have so much potential here. I've got people so fired up that there's a guy in Dallas that wants to shoot me, and we still can't execute properly.
No, just stupid shit, man. So frustrating, bro. And then, of course, you add Bill Watson on it. And Bill, he wanted to. His idea was to knock me off real quick and to say, see how much better WCW's talent is than WWF. This guy came from WWF, and we squashed him in the first angle. That's brilliant, Bill. Stupid bastard. You know, that piece of crap, man. I don't even get me started there. I'd go for hours on that prick.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is, man. I try not to think about him because every time I do, I want to take a shit. So there we go.
Yeah. And there's only so much in you. There's only so much.
Exactly, man. I'll be exasperated at the end of this damn interview. I'll weigh about 10 pounds.
Yeah, I don't want you to get dehydrated.
I don't want this shit come right out of me, man. Oh, man.
I don't want you to get dehydrated.
No. Especially thinking about him. My God.
So we were talking about Macho Man and that storyline being cut short. You know, I was thinking about it because I was reading a story about, you know, you and Hogan and that angle being cut off before it started because people were chanting your name. You were too popular.
DDT.
Right.
Thanks a lot, asshole.
Yeah, another time the wrestling fans just failed you completely.
Yeah, it cost me millions. Thank you very much.
So you've got the Hogan thing scrapped. You've got the Macho Man thing that's supposed to go to WrestleMania. That gets scrapped. And then just today when I was thinking
the Warrior.
That's what I was thinking about. Before we did this interview, and I'm thinking about my Jake Roberts memories, I'm thinking about the lead up to SummerSlam 91 and all these Ultimate Warrior vignettes and the fact that I remember as a kid, I'm probably, I don't know, 7 years old when that thing is happening. And I still, at 35, I still remember being 7 years old and going, I can't wait for this Ultimate Warrior to get his hands.
Happened.
And and so when you find out the Warrior has held up Vince for money at SummerSlam, and it gets the Warrior fired, are you sitting there going, "Oh, what the hell did you do now?"
Yeah, I was standing right there, man, by the curtain whenever Warrior came back through. Vince fired him.
Oh,
You're fired. Get the fuck out of my building.
oh,
I'm like, what? And he goes, Jake, you have the worst luck. I'm like, wow. Thanks a lot. You know?
I mean, they gave you the
I gotta say this. You know, there was some serious heat between me and Warrior. Really
real
serious heat. But, kill heat. Just 2 days before he died, he came back to me and apologized for that whole mess. And, you know, and I guess, you know, he stood up and he manned up for it, you know, and really apologized. It meant a lot to him for him to do that.
Yeah.
But, I was pretty damned upset considering that I had to go to him and ask him to shoot an angle with me to okay it, you know.
Yeah.
Vince had me go to him and ask permission to shoot an angle with him. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Tell him to fucking work with me, damn it.
Yeah, you're the boss.
You know, you're the boss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not the way it was done up there, man.
Wow. And,
You know.
I mean, but it just, I mean, and, you know, obviously the Warrior was a different guy by the time he passed away. But going back then, I mean, it boggles the mind that somebody could have it that good in an organization like that where the boss can't even tell them what to do, and they still find a way to screw
Shawn
it up.
and Bret. Shawn and Bret used to pull the same crap.
Mm-hmm.
I was writing television then, and sometimes we'd get stuck at Vince's house waiting for Vince to get off the phone because he'd have 3 and 4 hour conversations with Bret and Shawn trying to get them to talk to each other and wrestle each other. Are you fucking kidding me? Fire both the little dumb shits. You know? I'm serious. I fired them both, man. Get the fuck out, man.
Did you say that?
Do your damn job, guys. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, when Vince comes back to the table, do you go, what are you doing?
I told him. Sorry, I can't believe you, Vince. I said that the wrestlers, what did I say? In a nut house, you have the patients are running the asylum now. That's great.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And what
What the hell's going on?
I mean, did Vince have any?
He looked at me and shook his head.
That's it.
That's all he did.
No explanation.
I'm like, wow, really.
And are you sitting there
You know,
going?
I've never been a fan of guys pulling crap like that or clicks, if you will.
Sure.
I don't get into all that bullshit. To manipulate the game by you pouting and you pouting together. You're gonna pout, man. It's a privilege to get in that damn ring. Okay, it's a privilege. And if you get chosen to get in there, man, get your ass in there and hang on for your life. But don't play this game where you're gonna milk it, man, and play some game where you're gonna hold out and hold this shit. I don't give a shit if you're Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan or whoever, man. Nobody has the right to do that.
Yeah, I mean, are you sitting there going, man, because when you think about it, right, when you think about the late 80s, early 90s, in terms of all the WWE merchandise, there was 3 faces everywhere. There was Hogan, there was Warrior, and there was Jake Roberts. I mean, that was just, I'm not trying to blow smoke. It's just the way it was.
Well, I know, man.
Are you sitting there going, you mean to tell me that I could have been calling my own shots all these years?
Yeah, no shit. Well, that I take out on myself,
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's bullshit, man, and I still feel that way, and shame on them. It's bullshit, man. It's bad business. It's bad for everybody.
Have you talked to those guys?
Here's these guys that are holding up Vince for $1 million. Well, hey, what about the dumbasses like me that put these guys over?
Right.
We're not getting $1 million.
Right.
The fuck, man.
Every time you get close, it gets canceled anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, have you talked to those guys since then? Like, because I know, I mean, I don't know Bret, but I know that, like, I feel
about business. I said hello to Bret a couple of times, and Shawn said hello to me, but that's been it, man. I have no need to go into all that crap with them. It's not gonna teach them anything.
Right.
Hey, at the end of the day, they came out pretty damn good.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Shawn at least is a different person.
I'm the one back here sucking tit, saying I got to still go to work,
Yeah.
I'm the stupid ass. I get that. I get that, man. And, their argument could be, well, look at me, man. I've got, $10 million in my bank.
Mm-hmm. What
do you have, Jake? Well, I give $10 million to my drug dealer trying to get over your bullshit,
Well, you know what? You got Skankfest.
Yeah, I do have Skankfest.
So?
I'm looking forward to doing it.
Yeah. Before I let you go, one other thing that I wanted to talk to you about was around that same era, right? I wanted to talk to you about Undertaker. Your last quick program before you left for WCW. And you're back to being a bad guy. The Undertaker is now becoming a good guy. Is it difficult for you in that scenario? Because I feel like throughout the history of Jake Roberts, you've always been that kind of dark, methodical, slow-moving figure, and now you've got to share the ring with The Undertaker, who's supposed to be even darker and even more methodical and even slow-moving. Do you have to figure out how to adjust your style so that The Undertaker can still...
No, not at all. Not at all, man. Go out and do your thing, let him do his, and the fans are going to decide what they want to do with it.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of guys make that mistake. The worst in the world, God bless him, it was Lex Luger. Lex Luger, one week he's a heel, he'd go to the ring walking slow and being snarly and stuff. The next week he's a babyface and he'd run the ring high-fiving everybody. Dude, you don't change. Let the people change.
Yeah.
See, that's where guys kill their characters off. You never, ever want to piss on yourself, man. It's a good thing not to piss on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and you do that by destroying your credibility. Once you destroy your credibility with the fans, you never, never, ever get it back.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo.
I get it.
That's the key to success.
Have you thought at all about, and I know you've talked, you said you had a run doing this before and it didn't work out, but that was a lifetime ago. You're a different person now. You know,
Yeah.
WWE has just brought in a whole bunch of people into backstage roles. Have you thought about putting feelers out there to see if there's any interest in going
Yeah.
back to WWE as a backstage producer,
Yeah.
creative person, whatever it is?
It just wouldn't work for me.
Mhm.
You know, I've got a real problem when it comes to speaking my mind.
Mhm.
You know, and I call chicken shit. I call assholes, and you know, I can't do it, man. You know, my belief in wrestling does not fit what they're doing today. You know, I feel like they go out and destroy credibility. They destroy wrestling, for all that matter.
Mhm.
You know, I don't like what the product is today. Nobody sells a damn thing. You know, everything's a friggin' high spot. The most dangerous wrestling hole today is the schoolboy. It beats more people than anything else. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you going to tell me I can hit you with a sledgehammer, but I can't beat you with it?
Mhm.
I got to beat you with the goddamn schoolboy. What in the fuck is wrong with this?
Yeah.
Look
So-
at what you're doing, guys. Stop it. You're making me sick. You know?
Yeah, man.
Quit pissing on the business that's been so good to so many people, man. And fans love real good wrestling.
Mhm.
And you can still go out and grab an arm and work a hold and still have one hell of a damn match. When's the last time you seen somebody charge the ring? A fan. Well, it doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
Why? Because nobody believes the bullshit they're doing. You know, give it a break. What the hell, man?
Yeah, man.
All right. I'm out of here.
All right, bud. Well, listen,
Thank
SkankFestNYC.com is the place to go to get tickets to see Jake Roberts at Skankfest, and I appreciate you giving me some time, Jake.